Hi, everybody. It's Miss Northam, and we are here to learn our next lesson in our unit about CAD. So, previously, we have learned about how to make individual parts. Today, we're going to be starting a new unit where we're going to be learning about how to use those parts to make assemblies. So, you should be signed into your Onshape account like I am. So, if we remember that Onshape is CAD, which is computer aided design software, is a browser based program which runs great on a variety of devices. And so that's why we're using it in our class. So when you look at your home screen, it looks like this. And we have a lot of options here. We're going to be learning about how to use some of these options that we haven't used previously before. So in any case, what I'd like you to do, if you haven't already, is sign into your Onshape account. And once you're there, I want you to go over here and I want you to select public. Remember that this menu right here is where we're going to be able to find different files and assemblies that we might have already made previously or that other people may have made as well. And we're going to be using a public library today, which is something that we haven't done previously. So I want you to select public. And then once you're in there, I'd like you to make the search for Automatas. It's AUTOMATA''S. This is the name of an actual team that developed this library, and on the VEX website, we can actually find the files for all the parts. And so they imported these parts, and right here we can see their library right here on the top, and I'm going to click on that to select it. And when I do, we're going to see that it actually opens us up a bunch of directions here on how to use the library. And so you're always welcome to go back and read these if you need a refresher, but I'm going to walk you through the steps of how we're going to be using that library today. So I just wanted you to open this up because you're going to see that now that we've opened it up, it's going to be a lot easier for us to find. So once we have gone ahead and opened this, I want you to go back over here to this top left corner and click on Onshape, and this will take you back to your home screen. So it is browser based. It's a little bit laggy because I am recording this. And so I'm going to go back to my Onshape here. And we are going to be creating a new assembly. So what we want to do is we want to go over to the Create button and select it. And in here, we would like to create a document. The name of this is going to be V5 Legacy Clawbot, because this is the assembly that we will be working on making together. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. This is going to open up a workspace for us, which should look very familiar because we have made many parts before at this point. But we're going to do something a little bit different this time. Instead of being in the part studio, which is where we are right now and where we have been in previous lessons, we are going to click at the bottom here on Assembly 1. And when we do this, we're going to see a whole lot of nothing because we don't have any parts in our assembly yet. So before we start thinking about, okay, what parts do we need? What we're going to need to do is we're going to need to navigate over to the VEX Robotics website. So over here in this tab, I have that open. This is vexrobotics.com. This is just the homepage of the website. I would like you to navigate to that. By the way, remember that this video is a reference for you. So feel free to pause it and, go back, skip forward if you need to, and use the reference any way that you'd like. So I'm here at the homepage of the VEX Robotics website, and I'm going to go and I'm going to show you where to find the instructions for the Clawbot that we are going to be CADing in this unit. So we're going to go to V5 because this is the hardware that we have at our school. Going to click on that. Once we're in V5, you can see that we're going to have some new menus open up. And one of them over here is the downloads menu. So within downloads, there's all sorts of things. We can get free software. We can see where to buy competition materials, catalogs. But the one that we're interested in today is this one right here that says V5 Build Instructions. So I'd like you to select that one. And it's going to bring us, basically, these are all the robots that have instructions for how to build them. And many of them, the ones at the top, are ones that have been developed in order to play different VEX Robotics competition games as a starter robot. But we are interested down here at this guy, the V5 Clawbot, the Legacy Clawbot. And we're going to select the build instructions right here. Now, once those load, we're going to see that this, if you've ever done Legos before, it's going to feel a lot like a Lego, the instructions you get in a Lego kit. It's going to give us a parts list. It's going to tell us all the different parts that we need in order to build this clawbot. And once we scroll down a little bit, we can get here to step 1. This is our first step. And these are our first parts that we're going to need. So you can see over here, it's going to tell us the quantity of the different parts there are. The only thing I don't really like about these instructions is they give you the part number, whereas I kind of wish they would just give a part name. Sometimes, most of us don't think in terms of numbers. If you looked it up on their website, you can find exactly what the name of this part is. But I'll try to tell you the names as we go through the videos so that it gives you a little bit of a reference. So we are going to need basically a quantity of two of these pieces right here. We're going to need 8 of these pop rivets and 4 of these bearing flats. So what we're going to do today in today's lesson is just learn, how do we find those parts? Where do we get them from? So let's jump back over to the Onshape tab and let's learn how to use that library that we just found. So what I'm going to do is, in my blank empty space, I'm going to go over here into Insert. And in an insert, there's nothing as of right now, right? So what we want to do, because this is the current document, we haven't put anything in here, so there's nothing to find. We're going to go into other documents, and you see here where it says recently opened. We're going to select that. And that's the whole reason why we went through and we went and searched up that Automata's library before even getting started here. It was so that when we click on recently opened, there it is right at the top of our recently opened. We can click on that, and it's going to take a minute for it to load because it has a lot of parts in there. And that's going to be where we're going to find the parts in order to make our clawbot. So what you can see here is we have a lot of different menus, and all of these menus are for different sort of categories of parts that we might need in order to build our robot. So we're going to get started over here in the metal category. So you can see this arrow when it's pointing this way, that means that this is closed. So I'm going to click on it so that it drops down this menu, and it's going to give us a lot of different parts. And many of these parts are named with their actual true name, but, oh, sorry, I just accidentally grabbed something. If you accidentally grab something, you can always Control Z. It works the same in CAD software as it does in everything else. So the part that we are going to grab is actually called a chassis rail, if you look for it on the website. But in this library, they're calling it a 1x2x16 steel. So I'm going to click that, and I'm going to grab one and drop it off here. When it's yellow, that means it's selected. I'm going to click it here and drop it off in my workspace. So there I have one of my chassis rails that I'm going to need. So if you remember going back in here, right, that's this piece right here. So I found one of those. And by the way, the numbers 1x2x16 have to do with the number of holes that they have. So this is 1 hole by 2 holes by, if we count all of these down, there's 16. So that's where we got that part sort of naming convention from. So the next thing I'm going to look for are these pop rivets and these bearing flats. Now you'll notice that I'm only going to bring one of everything out of the library, and that's because it's very easy to duplicate things in CAD. So going back over to our CAD software, I'm done with the metal, so I'm going to go and I'm going to close this so it sort of puts it away for us. And I'm going to go and I'm going to find in the hardware section is where we should be able to find our bearing pop rivets. They are right here. I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to drop a rivet off here in our workspace. All right, looks good. Let's see, do they have bearing flats in here? Nope, they don't. We'll find where they're at. Don't worry. Okay, so close that one out, and now we're going to go. I do remember that they have the bearing flats somewhere odd. I think that it's in the miscellaneous motion section. Let's see. Yep. Right here is where we find our bearing flats. We're going to select that, and we're going to drop one of them off as well. So once I have all of the different parts that I need for doing this step, I'm going to click the green check. So in CAD, the green check means, okay, I'm done. You can put that tool or whatever I'm working with away. And you might have noticed that since we are in an assembly instead of making a part, we have a whole bunch of new tools up here that we never had previously when we were in our part studio. So if you remember, the part studio looked like this, and its tools are completely different. And we're pretty familiar with how to use all of these tools at this point. But in an assembly, our menus are completely different because we're going to be learning about how to mate parts together. Not today. Today is really just about grabbing the things that we need. And so now you can see where we were able to find the parts that we needed. So if we go back to the directions, we can see that basically in step 1, we're making 2 duplicate things. Like there's going to be 2 of the same. And actually in CAD, it's a little bit easier than building a robot in real life sometimes because we can just duplicate things very easily. So basically, I'm going to show you how to get our parts ready to assemble this today. And then next class, we will actually assemble it, and then we're going to duplicate. So we're only going to build one of these, and then eventually we'll copy to make a second one. So right now, the first thing I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to go back over to Onshape, and we are going to, okay, I just need one of these. I'm going to need 2 of my bearing flats. So what I can do is I can click on it, and once it's clicked on it and it's selected, I can just use the same old standard copy and paste as we use when we do anything else. So if you have a mouse, you can just right click and you can go to copy bearing flat, and then you can click somewhere else in your workspace, right click, and you can paste bearing flat, and you'll have another one. There you go. You also can just select something and Control C for copy, click where you want to put it, Control V for paste. That will work perfectly too. So now I have 2 bearing flats, I have 1 chassis rail, and I need to have 4 pop rivets in order to make the thing that we're going to be making next time. So we're just getting everything set up right now. So there we go. Another Control V a couple more times to paste a few more of those. And we have all the parts that we need. So we're going to end at this for today. So I will see you guys next time.